Yo, what's up, y'all? So back with another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about why do branded ads convert much better than just traditional ads, and how we've been helping our agents. We've helped over 550 agents issue pay $40,000 a month through our proprietary Apex system. So I'm going to be going through how that works, what that looks like, and why it works so efficiently. So what do typically? Let me consolidate this. Typically, what do life insurance agents normally do? Give me 1 second. Let me pause this. Perfect. Discord notifications going wild. What do life insurance agents normally do? So most of the time, life insurance agents are going to run like instant forms on Facebook, or they're going to go on marketing platforms to run ads, right? Or they're going to buy old data. Okay. Now we do all that for clients like externally, right? So this is not, if you're just a lead buyer and you just like, I just want really good leads, this video is not for you. But if you're trying to build like a system, or you're trying to optimize whatever system you have, this is going to be more or less for you and how you can continue to grow and scale, right? So life insurance agents normally are just buying leads, and that's great, right? Like whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, it doesn't really matter. It's a volume game. You can get the intent high for sure. You can do OTP verifications. You can ask tons of questions. You can make your landing page better. But at the end of the day, you have to understand who is the consumer on the other side, right? So I always talk about like understanding consumer metrics, right? So what I mean by that is like, if you're scrolling on your Instagram or your Facebook or your Twitter or your LinkedIn or your whatever, and you see an ad that's just like an image, very general, it's going to attract a certain type of demographic that's going to say like, hey, like I don't need a lot of information. I'm just going to fill it out because I'm just filling stuff out. Like I'm a form filler, right? That's why it works. That's why the cost per lead is relatively low. And it converts initially. People can watch videos on YouTube. Oh, this is how you generate leads. And like, that's great. But when you try to get into a higher intent demographic, and you really want to go after individuals who maybe have money or want there to be more trust, they're not just going to be filling out pages with like, oh yeah, you can get an insurance quote. Like that's good if you're buying leads. I get it. And you're just ripping and running. But if you're trying to actually like grow your book of business and develop your own internal lead system, which is who I'm talking to, most people will just be like, yeah, just run ads like that. And it's really because they don't know how to market. Like a lot of times people just know how to run regular Facebook ads, and they're like, I'm just going to charge people and tell them I have the best leads. The leads suck. They're out of business in a few years, and they can never actually convert because they don't actually understand consumer metrics. They don't know anything about the algorithm, how it works, how to target people, any of the finer details. And they also don't understand that like if you're building a business, you guys wouldn't buy from me if I'm like, yeah, our package is $10,000 a month. You're not just going to feel like, oh, cool. Well, I can just pay 10 grand because I posted something that said, I'll help you generate an inbound system. You go to the page. It's not that really good. It's not laid out. You can't go to my website. I don't have any testimonials, no reviews. Like you're not going to pull out your wallet, sign a contract, and say, hey, I'm going to work with you. It's 10 grand per, like, you know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. So the same thing goes on the other end. So typically, right, when you're thinking about consumers, you have a few different in our space. You have what's called final expense, which is simple, right? It's going to be 50 to like 85-year-olds. You have veteran final expense, right? And then you have all these like sub niches inside of it. So you have like veteran final expense, etc. I'm not going to waste your time. You have mortgage protection, right? You have different versions of mortgage protection. You have IULs. You have different versions of IULs. You have general life, right? And then you have targeted niches, which can be like truckers and all these other things. Nurses, that's great. But, UGC is another thing. People are lazy though. Like if you actually take the time to do the things and create a real business, you're going to like brand it, right? A lot of people know this guy named Eric Bosworth, and I have videos on my page about him. But like even before he was doing it, it's just like he didn't do anything special. He just took what was already business and brought it over to the life insurance space. And people were just like, oh my goodness, you're doing this amazing things. Like, no, I just understand simple business principles. Like my leads are better than yours because people see my face. I record a ton of content. I run a lot of ads. I push it to myself, and then I distribute the leads to my agents, and there's a lot of trust there. That's why they can get name, email, phone number, state, and still have better leads than somebody who's doing name, email, phone number, all these open-ended questions, because it's not necessarily like, yes, when you're running just ads that are still images and basic videos, yes, it's just, how many questions can you ask? How can you verify the information? Because that is your only filtering process. But when you actually get in front of the ads, when you brand your agency, when you understand how to actually perform and create a business model that leverages content and you get in front of camera, or you do the things that other people won't do, you'll get the results that other people won't get, which will then allow you to have better leads at a lower cost over time. You'll get free leads because you'll get DM, and then your leads will convert at 20%. So a lot of people ask, like, okay, well, how do they get to 20%? So you think about it, right? So if you're running an ad, let's just say you're spending $50 per day, okay, on an ad, right? So that's $1,500 a month. But you're running it to, pull this down, general page. We've all seen these. I have a ton of them. Let's just make up a page like benefits, society. I'm just making that up, right? And on here, you got like final expense ads. You've got like mortgage protection ads. And then your call to action is something like get your XYZ package, right? And it doesn't matter. You're not going to say like state regulated. You could literally still do like life insurance for burial, whatever. Or you could do like life insurance for home. Okay. And it's running to benefit track. So every dollar that you're spending is running to benefit society. Now, you guys know on Facebook pages, you've got like phone numbers, you've got emails, you've got websites. So what happens is when you have things that are professional, right? You have a real phone number that they can call that isn't just like your cell phone number, but an actual business number. When you have a legitimate website that's built, that's tied to the page. When you have actual banner, you have real testimonials, you actually have real engagement of people, you're posting real content. And your emails on there properly, and like things look professional, that helps you, right? Because if I see an ad and it says benefit society, I'm like, that's not a real thing. I go to Google, that's not a real thing. But if I see another one, which is why, like, when we do annuities and stuff like that, even this has been our thing, right? So this one is like running to your agency, right? So I'm just using Eric as an example, but let's say it's like Insurance Elevated or whatever, right? Like whatever the name is, or whatever company. That doesn't really matter. I'm just using him because a lot of people know who he is as a relative reference, but it doesn't matter. It's like XYZ agency, right? So now your actual ads, right, are going to have, so you can still run final expense, right? You can still spend the most, right? But then it's like life insurance for burial. But here's the thing. Now your call to action is get your, life insurance package with XYZ Financial or XYZ agency, right? Your Facebook page now has your phone number. So now you're going to have leads that are going to call. You're going to have people that are going to DM you. Because when you spend money on ads, there's still engagement, right? When you run a business, it's not always like, oh, straight through funnel, meaning that like, oh, this person filled out the ad, went to the book a call, and I closed them. There's so many other ways you get people. People will DM you. People will reach out organically. People will go to your page and snooze. People will comment on that. Like those are all free leads. So if you have somebody that's working that system, calling and getting back to them, that's what you need to do, because when you're spending advertising dollars to a general page and you're running with lead vendors, that page is getting bulked up, but it's not you. Right? Would you not rather put that $1,500 towards you? You're doing what we call, this is what we call equity advertising, right? So you're actually taking that and creating equity in what you're doing, and this allows you to continue to grow and scale, right? So this is like the game that a lot of people have backwards. Most people aren't willing to do it because they're not willing to put the work in to actually create all these things that you do need, right? And what we've noticed and what we know is when you do this, you get a 20% increased conversion on two things, right? So 20% on two things. All right. Number one is going to be booked appointments, right? Number two is going to be sales. So you're like, well, how? Okay. So think about the authority frame when you fill something out, right? Or you go somewhere and you talk to somebody and they're like, hey, like, who is this? And you say, oh, this is XYZ benefits. And then like, it sounds like that doesn't even sound like a real thing. But if you use an actual name and they saw actual faces and they heard your voice and it was very personalized and you had a website, like there's so much more inherent trust that subconsciously people don't realize. And that's why over time with, unbranded, which we call it, which would just be like regular lead gen, is going to be, the prices are pretty static. Like obviously with times, like it's, about to be Q4, Black Friday season. So the cost for leads and everything is going to go up and then it'll go down. But like when you run branded, it stays pretty steady because you're building a business. Like you're literally putting money into the algorithm for people to see you. So let's say I see your agency name and I don't fill the form out now. Well, then I see somebody else that maybe I'm more relatable with. So if I'm an agency, I have like white people, black people, I've got tall people, small people, bulky people, skinny people. Like I have all these different type of demographic people that maybe somebody may not relate with. And I'm running all these ads and people are seeing all these different individuals. Eventually, if you're doing your targeting right, if you're if you set all the other things up that I have in other videos, or you're working with a company, at some point you're gonna be like, yo, they're gonna move. You couldn't imagine, like, I've been doing this for 3 years. I have people that were like, yeah, man, I've been watching you for like 6 months. I just never pulled the trigger, but now I think I'm ready. It's like I'm just playing the long game, right? Like, and if you're building a life insurance agency, isn't that the game you want to play? Because when you're putting money into advertising and it's just for leads, you're not really playing that game. It's just very transactional. This is relational and allows you to grow, and you're actually building equity, because that means over time, your page, your leads are all worth something. So you have your own system where you do own the intellectual property. You now are spending ads on the page or the website, and you're building equity. So if you want to sell your book, you're going to be worth more. If you say, hey, I have my own internal lead system, I don't buy from vendors, I don't depend on vendors, so vendors can go out. I've hired my own staff. Everything's in-house. I have my own CRM. I have my own, like, you got your own stuff. Your multiplier is higher. You are worth more now because you actually own your intellectual property, versus other people are just buying leads from lead vendors and they're like, yeah, I'm making a lot of cash. And yes, you're playing the long game. It's not just going to snap your fingers and it's going to happen overnight, but you're trying to build a business. You didn't get in it to make $50,000, $100,000 your first year, and then next year you have nothing in your bank account. And that's what most agents or agency owners are currently doing. They're broke because the reality is they're not building any equity. Like, even in their agents, they're like, yeah, we're making all this money. And then I talk to some of them and then they're like, yeah, we're completely slammed with chargebacks. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, when you think about it, a lot of times too, and just another like tangent, right? It's like when you spend $350, and that's what $50 a day is on this number right here. You're spending $350 a week. Like, that's not a lot of money on ads for anything. Like, any real business is like $350. Like, what are you doing? You're running a digital business. That like is kind of like, so look, you kind of ignorant, like, to think that you should be able to do anything with 350. And then when you think about it too, if you do all the other things I explained in my videos, like you're calculating your cost to acquire a client, you're breaking down all of your numbers, and you see how much you need to spend. You're then looking at it like, okay, well, in reality, like, if I put 350 in and I close 3 policies, right, and each policy is giving me like $1,000, I just made 3K. So some people get mad and they're like, oh, and I'm like, okay, why don't you just spend more? Like, what happens if you spend 7, you make 6K? It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me, right? Like, it's like, people are like, oh, I'm trying to squeeze the lemon out of it. And I'm like, no, that's wrong. Now, the cool thing is, when you have the branded, that's going to be a 20% lift. So let's say out of that 350 that you spent, you booked, 10 appointments, and then you closed 2 of them. Now you should close 4 of them, right? Like, that's what our numbers are. As long as you have the back end system and everything set up properly, you're scripting properly, you know how to sell properly, you have a 20% lift, because there's a lot more inherent trust. A lot of times there's just not trust. When you're doing over the phone sales, a lot of times, when it comes up people giving you their social and feeling comfortable actually moving forward, a lot of times there's literally no trust built. You can send them your license and do all the finessey tactics, but like, some people just don't feel comfortable, because everybody needs life insurance. This is like, the closing percentage is so high in the life insurance space. Like, people close at like 50%, because it's not one of those, oh, well, I mean, you can kind of think about it, I guess, but not really, because rates are relatively standard. And if you do a good job painting the picture, it's just about like, do they trust you? Like, do they want you to be their agent? Because it's a relationship, right? So if from the beginning you had a kind of sketch page, you called me from XYZ Benefits, you don't have any website or nothing that's legitimate, like, yeah, you can close some basic policies, but if you're trying to write real business that's going to stick, that's not like social security stuff, and you really want to work with like mortgage protection, IUL, annuities, like, these people are going to go look you up. I would, like, why would I get on a call and be like, yeah, I'm going to spend $300 a month and I can't find anything on you? And this is just like the psychology that people don't think about. They're just like, yeah, I just want better leads. I'm like, dude, you need to build something that you own. You're never going to get great leads because just all of a sudden you just miraculously wake up one day and some lead vendor is going to woo. Like, I'm not going to do that, right? Like, the stuff I have is very general. It's meant to be like that because it's a transactional business. Like, you want leads, I give you leads. There's nothing else. We don't really need to communicate outside of that. You take the leads, you call them. If you have questions, like, cool. But if you want to build a system, like, cool, we can do that for you. But it's going to be a lot of work. Like, it's just done with you. This is not done for you. Like, if you want done for you, you just buy leads. You just, okay, here go the leads. If you want done with you and want to build something sustainable and build a business, then you do this. And then you'll convert at 20% higher because it just makes sense. Like, I don't need to even break these numbers down. It literally, like, when we did it, I was like, wow, this makes a lot of sense. Because a lot of people will be like, well, how's your conversation? I said, when I call people that fill out forms that want to either get into our agency Apex package or if they just want to buy leads, it's never like, oh, I might get a few, I didn't fill this out, or like kick rocks, but the intent is like super high. It's like, okay, I either know this is what's for me because I targeted them right, or I hit some pain points, or I don't. And I was like, well, why doesn't this translate? And as I've been building this Apex package the past like year and some change, I was like, all right, well, that's why, because there's no trust that's built there, and that really solves a lot of problems. Because if you look at, State Farm and Aflac and any other just household name, a lot of times it's because it's a household name. And yes, you can't recreate that, but you can try your best. And if you spend enough on ads, you'll build enough trust with the people who see the ads, right? When you start looking at the frequency caps and you start paying attention to how many times this is actually hitting the clients, then you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense. That's why it's not like the first day you pop off, you got a million leads. People just get there like, oh my goodness. It's like, dude, they have to see your ads for a little bit before they convert. And that's the biggest difference. So I hope this video helps. As always, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Like if you're at the position where you're like, yo, I need to find a way to get like branded leads, or I want to build like my own internal system, like you can go to our website, see, like try to apply, see if you'd qualify, potentially partner with us. Like I don't say this just to say this, like we don't take everybody, because honestly, some people just aren't a good fit. You need to have an agency. You cannot be a solo agent. If your agency is doing less than 100K, like it's going to be really hard for this to make sense for you. But if you're doing over 100K a month and you're trying to get to 500 or to a million, we had a roadmap. We've helped numerous agencies do that now. And we're now looking to just partner with more people. And if not, like that's fine. We have lead options. You can go buy that, or you can just try to do your own thing. I mean, that's fine too. No worries. Our goal is really just to help people scale and grow, and to make sure that if they are a good fit, that we can implement these systems just like this and numerous others that allow them to make money. And that's why like our clients that get into our Apex, like they don't leave because they understand the value, right, of an actual value, not just like, oh yeah, I'm giving you value. It's like, no, it's like inherent. Like, dude, I close more, I get more leads for a lower cost, and it makes more sense for me and my agency to do this package and have like a team that's running it, because that's what we're doing. Like we're actually running your back end operations to make sure that everything is smooth. We're running your internal lead system, and then you're just kind of giving us the green light. Okay, like this is what I want to do, this direction I want to go in. And in return, you get consistency, and on our end, we get a client that sticks. Right. So I build my book of business and everybody wins, but there has to be an equal exchange of value across the board. And you have to get into branded. Like it's super, super important. And if you're not willing to put the work in, then just say that. Don't blame lead companies. Don't try to come to anybody else. Don't come to, I won't drop any names, but there's actually really good lead vendors out there, excluding myself. Like, don't blame them. You know what I mean? Like if you're not willing to put the work in and like build the system, don't blame them. Just run the leads and make what you need to make. Don't be like, oh, well, it's good one week, bad another. Like, cool, that's fine. But like, there's a reason why. It's transactional. It's not meant to be like, oh, we're gonna make you great. Why would they do that? That doesn't make sense. Like, if they're selling you leads at a cost, like I do, like I need to make sure that there's a margin so that way I can make my money. Like it's not, if I have to start adjusting the ads and add all these filters, which would be great, at that point, I might as well charge you a retainer and you pay for the ads, right? And so like if you're gonna buy leads and keep it transactional, just keep it transactional and understand that. Like don't go into it being upset because it's transactional. Like you didn't do the things to actually build the system. Because you didn't do the things to build the system, don't be upset that you don't have system results. Systems results are consistency, straight line scaling, right? And when I mean straight line, it's going to have like, it's fluctuations, but it's not like, oh, it's going to be like, but it's going to be moving in the right direction. If you're upset that that's not happening, then you just got to realize like, dude, you're just not doing the things that you need to do. You need to build the system to do that. And that takes time, and that takes resources, and that takes money, and that takes you actually doing it. Like nobody's going to come in and build your entire business. That makes zero sense. People are writing their own businesses done with you, right? Done for you by leads, done with you. We build together. Real partnership, we can scale. And that's why we've been able to help a lot of agents make a lot of money over a long period of time, because we're just willing to do the things that other companies and other people won't. And if you're an agent or you're an agency owner who wants to partner with somebody who's willing to do the things that other people don't, then please reach out to us, try to apply, see if you potentially be qualified to partner with us, and we can help you scale and help you grow. So as always, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.